In this next video, I'm going to talk about loss of posture in golf backswing. Are you coming out of posture on your backswing, making it difficult for you to make the rest of your golf swing and keep it on plane and play any sort of consistent golf? Well, don't worry. This next video I'm going to show you exactly how to fix it so you make a better backswing and start playing great golf. Sound good? Keep watching. Okay, let's talk about this loss of posture in golf backswing. So what does that actually look like and why is it such a bad thing? So I'll show you from this angle here from down the line. So if I'm set up to a ball here, I've created this nice posture at address. I'm nicely tilted over the ball like this. I've got these nice angles set up. As I make my backswing and I stand up taller like this and I actually get further away from the golf ball, that's called loss of posture. And it also relates to where, if I was to draw a line right down where my butt is here, and as I turn, I pull my hips in towards the ball and I get further away from that line, that's loss of posture in the golf backswing, which causes a number of issues, particularly further on in the golf swing on the downswing, which are really hard to overcome. So this is something that you really need to fix. It's a good thing you're watching this video. Drop a comment down below if you think you might be guilty of doing this. I've certainly been there before, but the great news is it is easy to fix. So that's losing our posture. So ideally what we want to be doing as we make our backswing, we want to maintain that angle where our butt was on that line, on that imaginary line. We want to keep our butt on that line. That has a lot of great benefits, and most of all leading into the downswing, because for most golfers, if they stand up and lose that posture line in the backswing, usually on the downswing, things only get worse. They stand up on their toes, swing gets really steep, you have to flick your wrists, make compensations, and it's really hard to overcome that the rest of your golf swing. However, on the plus side, if you can maintain your posture in the golf backswing and get into this really deep position, really feel like you're getting great hip depth, pushing that hip back, it makes getting into that downswing, getting the club to shallow, much easier, gives you more room to shallow and make a fantastic downswing. And that avoids that early extension, which causes so many problems. So I'll show you what this looks like. I'm getting an alignment stick, and a real key to this is watching what your hips do in the backswing. So if you don't have an alignment stick, you can do this with just about anything else, a thin piece of wood. And this really highlights where the problem is. So you just put that through your belt buckle. And what happens with early extension, this should hopefully really show it to you a lot more clearly, is those hips will remain very level in the backswing. So from this angle here, if I make a swing and I come away from that sort of butt line there, you'll see this alignment stick has remained fairly level. My hips are fairly level. From this angle here, as I turn, you'll see that alignment stick is fairly level. I've come out of posture. Ideally, we want our rear hip, or for a right-hander, your right hip higher than the left in your backswing. That way you know you've maintained your posture in the backswing. So this is what you want to ideally be looking for, and this is where you can use this. Grab a mirror or a video is really handy to really see what you look like. So as we make our swing, as we get to the top, now you'll see there, you should clearly be able to see, hopefully you can pick this up on camera, that the end of this alignment stick is higher than this end here. It's not necessarily heaps higher, but it's definitely, that right hip is higher at the top of the backswing, and that means I've stayed in posture. So from this angle here, you can see that right this bit here is much higher than the left. Stayed in posture, I'm in a great position. I'm unlikely to early extend or have early extension in the downswing and make a great golf swing. So I'm going to show you a really simple exercise you can practice at home to really cement this in your game. Just a minute. Okay, here's one of my favourite drills to overcome loss of posture in the golf backswing. Now I've got a chair here. You can do this with an alignment stick, a golf bag, or just something that you can put your butt against as a reference point to help you maintain that posture. Now, with most golfers, when they talk about using a chair, they talk about keeping that butt against the chair in the backswing, which is very, very true. Most people will say, just keep your butt on there and that's all there is to it. But I'm just going to add a little bit of extra piece to this to make it a lot stronger, which I think works a lot more effectively. So what I'm going to ask you to do, so jump out of your chair if you're watching this, grab a chair, whatever you've got, put it against your butt. Now as you make your backswing, what I want you to do with this right hip, I really want you to feel like you're pushing hard against this chair and actually feel like you can move it further back behind you. So as I make my turn, you can see that I've really pushed that chair away from me and I've gained a lot more hip depth than what I started at address. If you can do that and gain that little bit of extra hip depth at the end of your backswing and by pushing against that chair, that makes your downswing so much easier. This is a really powerful move. If you can gain a little bit of hip depth at the top of that backswing, makes the downswing easier, you'll have more room to shallow and a lot of good things will happen in your golf swing. So I'll just show you that one more time. As we make our backswing, really going to focus on this right hip, getting depth and really pushing against that chair. So as we turn, I'm really pushing against it, and that just gives me all the room I need to shallow out that downswing and hit a lot more consistent golf shots. Give that a try. I know that will really help you out. If you have any questions or comments about that, please let me know. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Click and watch the video on your screen now. It's going to go into more detail about how to make a deeper golf backswing, which ties in really well with this video. If you want to learn how to play amazing golf, consider subscribing to the channel. And remember, if you do have any questions or comments, please let me know. I will respond to every single one of you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.